Welcome back guys once again on the channel. So here we are live for Andy Murray versus John Isner game, which is started at this moment right now. We have already seen a lot of heartbreak and a lot of huge encounters. We didn't expect that much of response from the audience that we got in the previous game from Raducanu's game, because we saw Raducanu was defeated by Caroline Garcia, and it was a really shocking defeat. The game is here guys, the news is here. Raducanu has been eliminated from Wimbledon officially by Caroline Garcia in the second round game, and now all the sudden things have been moved on to Andy Murray's game, because one Brit has been officially out of the Wimbledon, and now this time it's all on Andy Murray, who is currently playing in the second round. He has been almost 2 or 3 times Grand Slam champion currently, and he is gonna play up against John Isner, who had played the longest game ever in the history of Wimbledon, almost 11 hours. That game extended, and right now it will be really interesting to see what will go in this game. The game is still going on, it is continuously being played. Andy Murray is playing really good, and the thing is that we are really excited. We are really excited for the game at this moment right now. The game is turning out to be really good, because Murray is doing a great job in serving. And the thing is that John Isner is also a really good player whenever he played on the center back. World number 24 Isner is taking on 3-time Grand Slam champion Andy Murray in the second round of the 2022 Wimbledon Championship today. Following a third round loss at the French Open, Isner didn't compete in any tournaments prior to Wimbledon. The American was up against qualifier Enjo in the first round and was thoroughly tested, but now he has get rid of the test that was given by the American in the qualifier round. And now currently the thing is that he is trying really hard to put everyone's emerge as everyone's favorite at this moment. Following a third round loss at the French Open, Isner didn't compete in any tournaments prior to Wimbledon. Neither player got a whiff of a break point in the opening set, which was eventually won by Cockard in the tie-break. The second set played in a similar fashion, with Isner coming out on top in the tie-break this time. Both players had break point opportunities early on the third set, but couldn't capitalize on them. Cockard secured the first break of the match to go 3-2 up, and held on that led to clinch the set. With the possibility of a first round exit staring him in the face, Isner stepped up his game. The American managed to break his opponent's serve in the 6th game of the 4th set, which proved to be enough for him to win the game against the qualifier. The deciding set was fairly balanced, with a slip up by Cockard towards the end sealing the match in his opponent's favor. Isner got the pivotal break in the 11th game of the set and closed out the match with ease to win the game. Murray started his grass season on a strong note by reaching the final in Stuttgart, but injured himself during the contest. His participation at Wimbledon was in doubt, but the former world number one recovered in the nick of time. He took on James Duckworth in the first round and got the game in just 3 straight sets continuously. Murray fell behind early on in the opening set but immediately leveled the score. Duckworth went up a break in the 9th game of the set and then subbed it out comfortably. With the score tied at 2-2 in the second set, the Brit won 3 games in a row to lead 5-2 and won the set soon after. That was a really big comeback from Andy Murray that we saw in the previous game. In the first round of Wimbledon 2022, apart from this, Murray was even more dominant in the first set, racing to 5-1 lead, which proved too much for Duckworth to surmount. A solitary break of serve towards the end of the fourth set was enough for the two Wimbledon champions to steal the match. 4-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4. The previous game went on to a 4-set. It was a really bouncing game, but eventually the game was in favor for Andy Murray actually. The pair have faced off 8 times before, with Murray having a perfect record in his favor. He won their previous encounter 2016 Paris Master in 3 sets. Now Isner serves is a huge set for him. He hammered a whopping 54 aces in his first round match against Cockard. However, Murray certainly knows how to neutralize this advantage, as evidenced by their own sided head-to-head. The former world number one has a well-rounded game. He will aim to move Isner around the court to exploit his relatively poor movement and hit plenty of slices and low balls to make things more difficult for the American. However, if Murray doesn't put out his best foot forward during return games, it will be difficult for him to stop Isner. Both players have had their career best results at Wimbledon and are difficult to beat here. Murray looked sharper than Isner in their respective first round matches, and with the home crowd firmly in his corner, he is likely to continue his quest for a third title at Wimbledon. So prediction for, I guess, Murray, most probably not only in one set, then we might can see a difficult changes in 2 or 3 sets, most probably for Andy Murray. Andy Murray, who suffered an abdominal injury a couple of weeks ago and recovered just in time for Wimbledon, rallied from a set down to beat James Duckworth in the first round. This week, the Australian is going through a tough time on tour this year. The Brit cannot get away with a similar performance in the upcoming matches. Former Brit number 1 has gone 8-2 on grass so far in 2022. This is his best season on surface since 2016, when he ended the year with 12 wins from a possible 12 on grass and lifted his second Wimbledon title, dropping only 2 sets in the fortnight. Wimbledon is undoubtedly the former world's number 1 favorite and successful tournament on tour. He ended Britain's 77-year-old for a Wimbledon champion in 2013 and got a perfect 13-0 record in second round matches here. The 35-year-old hasn't made a quarter-final appearance in slams for nearly 5 years, but here is an opportunity for him to get to the stage, especially if his fitness condition improves. He's got a terrific record against big servers and is projected to face either Jannik Sinner or Mikael Ymer in the third round, and one among Oscar Ott, Carlos Alcaraz and Talon Greek Spo in the round of 16. John Isner, twice trailed by a set against a relatively inexperienced Enjo in the first round of the Wimbledon. He edged a French opponent in a closely contested first round in the recent slam at the French last month and followed it up with 4-set win in the second round against Grégoire Barrère. The big serving American has underperformed at Wimbledon throughout his career. He made his maiden semi-final appearance in slams here in 2018 but couldn't progress beyond the third round during his other 11 visits. Murray leads 10-0. The Brit is a nightmare matchup for any big server, and he should be able to continue his dominance against John Isner. The prediction is in favor for, obviously, Andy Murray this time also, but let me clearly tell you it's not going to be really easy for Andy Murray to get that win here.